Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to James Whitehead Power Hour with our special guest, Miss Joanne, tonight. James Whitehead couldn't be here. He's in Atlantic City, making sure our residents are okay, so giving them that support. And you know, James, he's always over there for the people. James, we missed you. Miss Joanne,
hello.
Welcome to
Hi,
the show.
Celeste. Thank you for having me. We miss you, James. I haven't met James yet, but he asked me to come on board and give a little, brief background of my nonprofit organization, which is trying to help the community. So I'm hoping that I can spread the word, spread love, and see where it goes. So I'm here today. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. James Whitehead, for giving me and giving us the opportunity to be here again. And do we have Teddy Tache with us? Teddy Tache.
Yes, we do.
Hello.
I am here.
Hey, girl.
Good evening,
Hi, good
everyone.
evening.
Good evening.
I miss you, Celeste. I haven't seen you in forever.
Miss you too. Miss you too.
And hello, Miss Joanne.
Hello.
Welcome. I am so glad and happy that you're on our show this evening.
I'm excited. A little nervous.
Wonderful. No need to be nervous.
Okay.
We're all family, so of course we are going to get through this.
You got it.
Minute by minute. We're just going to have a friendly girl conversation.
Okay, sounds good to me because I like friendly girls.
Yes, we are. Teddy Tache, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity one more time. Nice hearing you. And we have Miss Joanne over here spreading love in this season what is much needed. Tell us
Yeah.
about a little bit more about your organization.
So real briefly, because I like to talk, because I'm Italian. What happened with me growing up? I went through some tribulations and trials, just like all of us have. But during college, which was about 25 years ago or more, I decided that one day I'm going to open up a nonprofit organization to help the youth. Then I got into the medical field, and I saw a lot of older people needing love. So I thought, just recently, being in marketing and doing graphics, I said, I'm going to do this. So I started what is called Yo-Yo. So I combine the two, the young and the old. So it's
Can you spell those two letters?
sure Yo-Yo,
Is that Y-O?
Young and Old Youth Organization. So
Right.
it means young and old. I don't know if you can see that in over there, Yo-Yo, Yo-Yo, and it's for the young and the old. So with that being said, the whole premise was to spread love, number one, but to also help the younger children in the area in our community have coping skills. a lot of them are I worked in Atlantic City. I grew up in Atlantic City, so I've seen a lot. And when you have like these things that you're going through in life, sometimes you need a mentor, you need a coach, somebody to coach you and tell you things are going to be okay, even though you have this going on at home. If you had heard somebody else is going through it, sometimes it's easier. So then it came with the older people where they're going into nursing homes and they're not doing so well, so you want to go and help them because there's no one in their life either. So I thought I'd combine the two. Wow. Yeah. So with that, I thought I'd think, okay, so our kids are in school. The parents are blaming the teachers. The teachers are blaming the parents. There's no one, I mean, there are great teachers, let me tell you. I've had some of my own, but it's overwhelming. It's very stressful. They have a lot of work to do, and I get it. I don't know what it would be like to be a teacher, but I have friends that are teachers, and they go through a lot. And with the stories they tell me, I want to cry, even counselors that I know. So, I mean, as a community, if we can help out and be disciples of the Lord, why can't we? And go help our community and help these kids as they're growing and start them young. Cheer them on, make a happy day, have a happy day, have people there. So if they're having issues at home, if they're getting bullied, we can figure out how to fix it before it gets worse and somebody dies, because people do end up, I hate to say it, these young kids today are now committing suicide. So it's kind of sad.
And we was talking before the show started, and we were saying it's take a village. Yeah. Because like you said, the teachers are blaming the parents are blaming the teacher, but everything starts at home.
Yes.
We got to start it at home because the teacher cannot do it by themselves, and the environment as well.
Right.
And like you mentioned, there's a lot of kids dying, killing themselves because they've been bullied. Right. Yeah, it's take a village and spreading the love,
right,
and spreading the unity. What do you think?
Unity, but it's also a domino effect. So if the parents are struggling right now because it's so hard now to make ends meet, so both parents are working and the kids aren't, getting the love that they need, they're like now they're not really getting the full attention that they need. So if we came as a community to help these kids, and guide them, life is like a yo-yo. It has its ups and downs. These kids are like, they think that just because it's bad now, it's going to be bad forever. But even as an adult, we have our ups and downs. Yeah. I mean, I've had my ups and downs. I mean, listen, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. No. And that's what it says there, And our Bible is to teach these kids. And since that's been pulled out of the system, you want to instill it into these children too, that like love is what's going to conquer all, not this hate and envy and everybody's so... So what I do is I want to entertain kids. I went to actually a school and I taught aerobics in a class, and got these kids dancing and moving and happiness. So a lot of people are missing out on, everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants a party. Everyone's happy. But life isn't always a party. It's what you make it. So these kids need coping skills because a lot of them think it's the end of the world. So going into schools, I made the shirts for heroes. So if you know somebody who did something, feel how soft that is. Oh my gosh.
Yes, Lord.
So if you know somebody who did something heroic, you buy them a shirt. And the heart's right where the heart is. And then I don't have the courage one. I ran out because they were so...
The logo
yo-yo.
Well.
So like yo-yo, people will be walking around, superstar. You have kids that are going to go to school and you encourage kids.
James,
look
this
how
is
cool
fabulous.
Yo-yo, look at superstar. These kids need to know that what they do, we want to spread goodness. Even, and people need to stop judging each other and stop this hate. This one's in just a different color. I don't have the courage ones because I gave them all out. But I'm sorry, Teddy's trying to talk. I'm so sorry, Teddy.
People because one of the things I think it's so important that we encourage people, and that's something that's really good because in our society it's so easy to pass judgment. Mm-hmm. And you can pass judgment without even looking or seeing the other person on social media. I could just, somebody post something and it might have been, in good intentions, and then people just, as they say, go in or, have so much to say. And sometimes, I don't know where and or when we became so judgmental. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, don't want the positive feedback and or you can't say anything one way or the other. It's like you can't say anything, but at the same time, everybody wants to have a say. So
Right.
they don't necessarily match. But having the ability to encourage someone and to highlight and giving children and or older adults or more seasoned adults, I don't want to call people old, but more seasoned adults, the ability to have an outlet, that is like great, especially with exercise. Because, you know, in our country we have so many issues with heart disease or diabetes or whatever, but just the sheer fact that you can start moving around and using exercise
To
which
motivate.
creates endorphins. It motivates.
She knows
It's
about
also
endorphins, I
good for
like
your
that.
heart. It's good for your health. It's good for releasing all that. So it's just so, you know, that's so powerful in and of itself to have that release. Everybody needs to find their own release, whatever it is. For me, it's coloring.
For you, it's coloring.
So I love it.
For me,
So,
it's dancing for me.
Dancing.
Yeah.
For me, it's creating. I
Yeah.
had to be to creating something, putting things together, planning.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, and when I do present the shirts, I give them a yo-yo. So these are for the children, but I wanted to give one to Stefan.
Stefan, see? The first time.
Look at him. It's blue. You gotta just take the little thing off, and the light will shine. This little light will shine. This little light of mine. Here, this is for you.
Oh, thank you. I have my
Okay.
JoJo.
Yes, your yo-yo.
James, we have one for you, Teddy Tache. We're going to have one for you, the pink.
Life
What
is-
is your favorite color?
I can't wait. I need that for sure. Yeah.
Is it?
Ricky,
Thank you
that's
so
for
much.
you.
In advance.
Listen, life has its ups and downs.
Yes. Yes, and that is the truth. We have Stefan over here with the JoJo. He's gonna
he's always
go
trying
to
it
some
now.
commission.
They're not as easy
But
as you think.
But I actually really like that name, Yo-Yo, because it's both ends of the spectrum, right?
Yes.
You have the entrance into life, and then you have later on in
Yep.
life, and you have the in-between, and a yo-yo does both directions. It gives
Exactly.
you both. So I really like that name.
Up
that
and
was
down.
very clever.
Thank you. And also the nonprofit that, you know, like I said, I was telling Celeste earlier, I'm not making money here. This is all about spreading love. I mean, you know, of course I want to have the ability to, you know, quit my day job and do what I love to do and make people happy and motivate. But right now, like going forward, you know, taking this and taking whatever donations I get, I am going to put on social media and let people know what monies they're giving are going towards other people and lives. Like, you know, whether it's somebody that needs diabetic medicine or a child who needs asthma medicine, and then having people like right now I want to go back and get my master's for counseling.
Wow, that's
you know,
great.
right? And I was a medical assistant for 10 years, so I do have a medical background per se. So if that could help out children, and I have people on board that are like Jimmy, and I have a bunch of friends who are, one's a barber, she's a cosmetologist. She was ready to do haircuts for these young kids today.
Wow.
I mean, we have so many people that are willing to give their time to help our youth. And then we have my friends whose kids want to go to the older nursing homes, who want to go in and just go into the rooms and hug them. So
Wow, that is great.
How awesome
That
is
is
that?
great.
Because if I'm getting old, I'm in a nursing home, and I see this little child coming running to me, I'd be crying.
Yes, you've been.
So
and
why
that connection, then
Right.
need all of us actually. Who don't need a hug?
Exactly.
Lord.
Now, I went to Catholic school, and we went to an old age home, I would say, we called it the old age home, and we played bingo with them. And that really touched me. I mean, I think every little kid needs to do that.
To play bingo. my
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
We had James Whitehead on the line.
Oh, boy.
Well, hello,
Buenas noches.
Merry Christmas, ladies
Merry
in Atlantic
Christmas.
City. I just wanted to call you. I'm down at City Hall to participate in this meeting to oppose this petition to take away the right to vote. But I called because I know you guys are having an incredible show with Joanne to talk about some innovative programs, and you got Teddy Tache and Celeste together. It's just like a whole big old ball of what Joanne calls love.
Love.
So Joanne, how's it going? How's it going, Joanne?
It's going great. It's going great. I'm still on my mission, and I'm getting everybody aboard. You know, like the Noah's Ark. Come on in, because it's sailing. It's starting. We're gonna be like,
Wonderful.
yeah. The ship is gonna
That is
sail,
great.
and it's a revolution right now, because it's right now is perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Welcome to the team,
Wonderful.
James. That's what we are.
Well, Celeste and Teddy Taché are going to catch me up after this meeting at City Hall.
Okay.
And we're going to collaborate with you, and together we're going to do good and do okay.
You got it.
And before you leave,
Thank
Mr. Whitehead, what is
Yes,
this
ma'am.
Meeting at City Hall? What is this meeting about at City Hall tonight?
Well, what this meeting is about, there's some guys that's been going around the city getting the residents to sign some petitions, telling the residents that the petitions were to cut out crime and stop the violence in the street. All along, it was fraudulently getting the petition signed because the petition is to take away the vote from the people of Atlantic City. In other words, they want to have a city manager and appoint some city council members and kind of like dictate how the city is run, and which would take away the citizens' right to vote. So that means that people in Atlantic City wouldn't be able to vote for their mayor or city council members in the future. And they have a very high priority focus on gentrifying Stanley Holmes Village and gentrifying Back Maryland, just getting rid of those people because they're very autocratic in their thought process. So we're here at City Hall for the second Monday to meet as a collective community to talk about how can we work against this, oppose this, defeat this, turn out the vote to make sure we vote it down and kill it so that we can continue to have a constitutional right to vote for who we want to run our city. Yes. And so that we can also make sure that we can lead the way for the future and not some dictators just kicking people out because, they're disadvantaged. So that's what it's about. It's about trying to make sure that we keep the right to vote here with the people of Atlantic City.
Yes. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you so much for explaining that because I know people were like, wow, he's been at City Hall last week and he's there this week. What in the world is going on? And so for people who don't know, thank you for explaining because that's something.
Thank you for asking, Betty. Well, you ladies continue this good discussion, and I will be on the next show. I'm going to leave here and go down and spend time with my grandson, Grayson, and Crystal, who are in Washington, D.C., waiting for me to come back. You know how important this was up here in Atlantic City, so they knew I had to come up here and spend a Monday up here with good folks of Atlantic City and Joanne with this Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour, which is really the community's Power Hour. And you girls go in, you ladies, please continue your discussion, and let's work together to make Atlantic City better in the future. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, James.
Okay. Oh, and Celeste, Celeste, how do I say it? Adios.
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 Bye-bye.
Okay.
Arrivederci.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. And we're gonna
Peace-
get a
peace
small
out.
break. And then when we come back, Ms. Joanne, we got to talk about the young children having children. Maybe he's affecting the new generation.
Absolutely. I worked for Southern Jersey Family Medical Center.
Okay.
I worked in OBGYN.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act. Wow. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen, listen to every word I say, every word I say. No, no, no. We're moving, we're grooving. We're moving, yeah, yeah. We're grooving. Moving, moving, moving.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to James Whitehead Power Hour with Miss Joanne spreading love in this season. So when we took a break, we was talking about young parents young kids having kids. And do you think that can be affecting our
Absolutely.
children's
Absolutely.
well-being?
When I worked at, I don't want to say the name, in the medical field, I worked at a couple facilities. I should just say, keep that to be safe. And I saw a lot of mothers coming in, young moms, pregnant over and over, multiple fathers. They're looking at these guys like they're they're goddesses, and they want their children just to keep them. But like, that's another thing. If we could educate our girls, our young girls, that sex is not love, and that having children isn't going to keep the man. Like, so now if we start them young, unfortunately, because that's when it happens. Like I said, the parents are both working 2 jobs, or they're divorced. Like my parents got divorced and they're separated, and the mother's not there and the father's not there, or something happened, and the child feels like they, because you need 2 parents to build strength and a foundation. So if they're both not in the picture, or something's happened, God forbid, they've died, or they've a lot of drugs take over, you can maybe try to help these girls before it's too late.
Yes.
So things like that could happen to them, and I'm not gonna, like I said, all of us have a story to tell. There's things that I wish my parents had told me, my mother, but she was very old school and did not tell me. So if we know, because we've experienced it, that way we can tell these kids, hey, listen, if you're doing this, you need to now take care of yourself. Go to the doctor, make sure everything's okay, and have a little bit of guidance for these children.
Yes, and I seen it like we say, it start with at home too, with the parents before they go to school. Because I don't know where I grew up. I was born and raised in Dominican Republic. I came to the United States really young, and you being an Italian descendant, our parents made sure by 18 you know how to run a home. You know how to clean, how to cook, you gotta work.
Right.
And I hear a lot of these kids are 18. They don't know how to cook. They cannot go to school and work.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, my 3 children, they know by 18 you know how to run a home.
Right.
So, and especially if you're going to have boyfriend, the girls and girlfriend, that boy, you know how to.
Well, it's funny because Italians are different too. They didn't give us any explanation. They just said, get married. So they didn't really want to and it's funny because my nieces were going to Catholic school, and then they went to Christian school, and the power was there, the God's word was there, it was nice, but sometimes I think parents feel uncomfortable talking to their kids about it, so they'll hear it from somebody else, and they don't know. So what better person is it for their parent to tell them? So really, a lot of parents, if you're going to have children, you have to be responsible. It's like with people who get a dog and then they don't want a dog, you can't just get rid of the dog. I mean, well, you can't just get rid of the kid.
No, you have to know how to clean. You have to know how to cook,
right.
And you'll be ready to be working. I mean, once you have a child, that's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
And there's no way. Oh, I don't have no money. I had to, like you say, go and prostitute myself now because I don't know what else to do. There's a lot of job, but hey, things happen. We're not gonna judge anybody.
Right.
But there's a problem with kids having kids, and,
Right.
and those kids don't have their
And the
orientation.
respect for each other. You know, when one parent is not respecting another one in front of the children, then the children see that. So a lot of it has to do with common sense, like, okay, my child's going to see this happening. Just like anything, you can't protect your child from everything because you're not going to be with them 24/7, but you would hope that you can lead by example.
Yeah.
You know, with what you know, and how, like, well, I went through that. Now I have to stop that from happening because I know that can happen if I don't tell them this could happen.
Yes, but it is like you said, that get married and that's it. They didn't give you no information. Now you get married.
Yeah, let's get married and have kids. I mean, I didn't take scholarships for college because of that. You know, back in my day, it was get married. Get married and have kids. Yeah. But nowadays, it's these girls want to be independent.
Yes.
You know, they want to take care of themselves. But like I said earlier, domino effect. You know.
Well, I think one of the other things
Yes.
too is from my experience as an educator. I was in high school, and sometimes because the family structure is broken, sometimes the students just want, or the young ladies want someone or something just to love them.
Yeah.
And they don't
Absolutely.
realize what that really entails. They just want somebody to give them the unconditional love, where, yes, a child will do that. However, the stress that comes along with that child giving you the unconditional love is like a misconception. So they'll have the baby's arriving and they're excited, but at the same time, it's scary because now you have the medical components. What if the child is sick? How are you going to provide for the child? The clothes, the daycare, and then this list starts adding up. And we really don't have the full-fledged conversation to say, you know, it's taboo to talk about certain types of relationships. And it's taboo to talk about, you know, being sexually active. And in that, we do have to have real conversations, because if you don't teach your children, then the streets will, or TV,
Yes.
or YouTube, or anything else.
Right.
And you have to have those conversations, and they need to start fairly early.
Yeah.
Because when I was in the classroom and watching other things from different vantage points, even at 10, you would be surprised at how many children, because at 10 you're still a child, you'd be surprised at how many children know so much. And you're like, oh my goodness, like, where did you get this concept from? Or where did you get, these things? And even my son, he's 7, and, of course, it's like, well, where do babies come from? And it's like, well, do you say the stork brought the baby? Or do you start introducing these real conversations?
Right.
Because eventually they're going to find out. So
Right.
you do have to have real conversations.
Right.
And the truth has never hurt anybody. It's just how much of the truth can your child handle as you continue to progress that conversation. Because for me, my son and I, we've had conversations about body parts and everything else and what's appropriate and what's not, starting at like 2 years old.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Because,
but
in
Absolutely.
today's world, you can't wait. You can't say, oh, well, somebody's touchy. I want you to tell me. I need to know immediately. So you have to start those conversations, because some children, generally speaking, if a child is abused, then they do what they've experienced with other children because they think it's okay.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have those conversations, then it's like, well, let me see this body part on you or whatever, and it's not okay. But again, we have to teach our children, and we have to have these conversations very early so that they know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Absolutely. Teddy, you hit it right on the nose.
Yes.
She really
yes.
did.
Yes, because you got to start early. Because you don't want it to be too late. You said, okay, like you mentioned it before, 2 years old, 3 years old, how I'm going to explain it? But somebody else is going to do it. And like you mentioned it, they're going to think it's okay. They didn't know no better. Now somebody else is teaching it.
Yeah.
And they cannot tell you because, for them it's normal. And that is correct. You hit it. You hit it.
Right.
What do you think?
So then,
Priscilla?
what do you think? Like, then then you tell them, and then they tell their friends, and then they go tell their mothers. Like, now you're the bad guy if you're coming out and you're letting them know right, like off the bat, this is wrong. This is wrong. Like, how do you now, express that to these children that's what's scary. That's the guidance they need. I mean, unfortunately, someone's got to step up to the plate and tell it like it is,
Right.
and stop beating around the
Absolutely.
bush. I mean, hey, saying there's Santa Claus is bothering me too, because we don't want to lie to these kids. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, but my
It's
son,
okay.
again, like, I've had a conversation because he's like, okay, well, how is Santa getting everywhere?
Right,
We're not
I
going to
don't
do
know.
this because I'm not going to spoil it for somebody else. So
Right.
I won't even have that conversation right now.
Or even the
Because some
tooth
children-
fairy.
I agree with protecting the innocence of children.
right.
And their imaginations are wonderful and powerful. So I don't take away anything.
Right.
However, everything in time, and each child is different.
Right,
So
yes.
it's more so once they start asking those questions, you need to ask them some questions to see what they know. Because the first thing,
That's
when
true.
my child asks me, I'm like, well, what do you know? Like, let me see what you
That's a
know
good
first.
idea. Yeah. So let's take notes here. You go first.
Yeah,
love it.
No, you're asking me a question. Let me now see how much you know.
I love
before
it.
I tell you way too much. Because
Right.
your thing maybe, a little bit different than what I may have perceived. So I need to know what your understanding is. And then we'll build off of that. And I'll
Yeah.
give you just enough. And then the next
Right.
time we have a conversation, I'm going to give you a little bit more.
Sounds
but in
like-
context.
It sounds like gin
In
rummy to me.
Yes, but you are testing the water to see how
Right.
much they
So,
know
yeah,
because
well, yeah. I gotcha.
and you
These kids are smart today.
Yes, yes.
They really are.
They-
And I'll give you an example. This has nothing to do with the subject that we're asking, but one day my son came and asked me, he was like, Mommy, what's life insurance? And I'm like, oh my God. What do you mean? What is life insurance?
You'll find out. You'll find out after Daddy dies.
He's 7 years old, and I'm like, oh my goodness, he's asking me about life insurance. I'm like, okay, well, tell me, what do you think life insurance is? And he says, well, it's when you get money when somebody dies.
Oh,
And he
my
laughed.
God.
He
Oh
was like,
man.
"That's-"
See, they hear it
And I
from
was
other
like, well,
people.
in context, that's right.
You got
He
yeah.
was like, that's stupid.
Oh wow.
Oh my God! But tell your son to give me a call.
I guess that's why my mother protected me. I wasn't allowed to sleep
Right,
out.
right.
I can understand now why she didn't want me sleeping over anyone's house.
Yeah, no, I never like my kids sleeping and over because
Oh, is it?
you
Yeah.
never know.
It's scary.
It's a fragile situation. Yeah, you never know, and there's so much going on right now.
No, it's yeah.
But that was funny. I like them. What is life insurance? 7 years
The
old.
question
Right,
that was
but
like the
he thinks life insurance is stupid. Because then he was like, well, if you get it when somebody dies, why don't you call it death insurance? I'm like, actually, that's a good point.
Oh my
You know?
God!
So he's like, you should get the money while you're alive. It's life insurance.
Oh,
not
how
death
cute is
insurance.
he?
So,
It makes sense.
That's so cute. He should be on the show right now.
Yeah, I read a phrase that say kids ask questions that the wise man can answer.
Yeah.
Cannot answer. So
Yeah, I used to
and
ask my
that's true.
mother. I used to say to her, I think I was 10, where does all the trash go? I was like 10. She was like, I'm like, okay, that golf course right there?
Where it goes. But yes,
That's
I
sweet.
think we had to start teaching and talking to
Yeah.
them. And like you mentioned, Teddy, that it's like gradually. Okay, you are 4, you are 5. Let me start little by little, and ask question.
Yeah.
And see how much they know because we'll be surprised.
How do we
yeah.
protect these kids today? Put bubble wrap on them? I don't know. It's sad.
And they
I
will
get
break
worried.
down.
and the answer is absolutely not. You
Yeah.
can't. Because if you teach them how to bathe themselves or how to wash their face or go to the bathroom, you do that gradually. So why wouldn't you gradually introduce everything else?
Right.
Yes.
And like
That
my
is
sister,
correct.
you can't expect the teacher to teach it all because there's now 40 kids in a class nowadays? Like how can you even teach a class that big? So, I mean, as the community coming together, and helping, like maybe with a couple, like once a month, have like a system like to stop bullying. Because I
Yes.
know, and I don't want to say this, but it happens. I know a few people whose children have, ended their lives because of bullying. But like if you had encouraged that, if a teacher knows that there's a kid bullying, bring that kid aside. He needs love. He's the one who's got the issues. You see somebody at work who's constantly nagging. They're hurting. So if you start young, have that thing I said once a month at school, or go to nursing home once a month, just to go there and show that there's good people still out there in this world.
Yes.
There is hope,
Yes.
you know.
And it's the talking. It's to letting them know. Hey,
right.
teaching them different.
Expressing themselves.
Correct. Listening to them. And those shirts have a meaning.
Yeah.
Because when they wear and they see it, now it's a message that say, okay, I'm a superhero. Wait a
Right.
minute.
Yeah.
They good things
I'm
over
strong.
here.
I'm strong.
Yeah, I'm strong.
I'll
You're
never
gonna do
forget.
it.
I had a coach who believed in me. Like I don't want to like talk bad about my family, but they were very negative. It was, why are you doing this? You can't do this. That's stupid. Blah, blah, blah. Very negative. But my one coach was believing in me. I was a fast runner. He saw potential in me, and no one really cared. In my, at home, Italians didn't think of sports and things of that nature, so they didn't inspire me. So these children nowadays need inspiration. I remember going to. And I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No.
I'll sit on my hands.
No, go ahead.
We had a club. The school had like a book sale, and I remember seeing this. It was like inspirational quotes, and I bought it, and it was about this long. It had, "You are worth it. You are brave. You are strong." Things like that, and that kept me going. And with that, I had all coaches as well. Tell me, you're very talented. You should go to college. But I never did, because I didn't have the support that I needed. So if these kids have support, when they think that they're nothing and they turn to drugs and alcohol and because of things that happened into their past, people like us who have been through it, or anybody, not just us, I'm saying people in general.
us,
but,
everybody.
we are all broken. Bring light back into them and let that shine so that hate can be abolished, because hate it starts with negativity and jealousy and fear.
Yes. What do you think about Teddy? She let us for a little bit.
Maybe she thought the Italian girl was going to talk all the time.
No, she's there. I'm pretty sure she's listening.
She's cute.
Can you listen to us, Teddy?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
I try to keep my phone on mute just in case other things are going on in the background.
Right, because she's got
But
a child back there.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
It is, even with the bullying thing, going back just a little bit, it's one thing to always focus on the bully. It's another thing to teach the child self-assertion and to be assertive, because, there's always going to be a bully. There's always going to be a bully.
Yes.
And that's a fact. In school, it looks different because you have all the different hormones and everybody's going through their defining who they are. When you become an adult, your bully looks sometimes like your boss, sometimes like somebody else, and you still have to know how to stand up for yourself.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you have to be nasty. It does not mean that you have to fight, but you do have to know how to stand up for yourself. And I think the one thing that we have learned and we've seen in this country is that we've become so passive. The first time that we've seen what everyone considers a bully in office, we don't have to name any names. We don't know what to do with him. And we don't know now how to deal with a bully, because everybody has become so passive in saying, "Oh, everybody gets to win." Everybody, and the fact of the matter is, sometimes you will lose. Sometimes you will win. But how do you come back from a loss?
Yeah.
How do you deal with a win? You can't be nasty when you win. You can't be nasty when you lose.
Right.
How do you come back from these things, and how do you deal with it? And when we start really teaching our children how to deal with all of these things collectively with emotional intelligence, to think about the other person and to consider, yeah, you won, but you don't have to put it all in their face. You can still celebrate and not be nasty. You can lose and still say, you know what, that was a good game, even though, you lost. And it's okay. But we need to show how both sides look and not just, one side. So that's one of the things that I think we, collectively, we have to get back to, not just saying, okay, well, it's the bully. Yeah, the bully should not be bullying. But you still have a right to stand up for yourself, and you should.
You should,
And we
yes.
have to teach children how to do it.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
instead of they taking their life. It's sad every day. Excuse me, every day it's like somebody had to post a child in Facebook that take his life.
Yeah.
For because of bully. Like what are we
Mm-hmm.
doing? What are we teaching these kids?
Right.
That's how the things that you are doing, Miss Joanne, is
Yeah,
so
yeah,
important.
yeah. If you go into the
Right.
schools and you teach this and let them know, being bullied is not. You don't take it personal. This person just might be going through something. And if we could get into the schools, and that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm praying on this. I have a few people that are on the board and in the school district, and I have people that I know over in Meadowview and other nursing homes. If we could just get in there and just, like I said, just touch people in a manner that they feel comfortable with and they're happy with, and just make their day. Even if it's just a day, once a month or what have you. I just want them to know that there's hope, there's faith, there's good people out there, or that they think that life is, no one cares. Because I've been there. I'm a self motivator. I mean, I used to teach aerobics, so there's days I'm like, oh, I have to get up now, motivate 20 people in my class. Okay, and then I get up and I put this, and then I pump myself up. So if we could do that for one another, why can't we?
Yes, that's a good question. And we're gonna go to a small break.
I went back to that song.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen, listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got to do. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got to do. We got it. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe. And if you're trying to make it,
Thank you for staying tuned. We are back. And my question to you is there more members in your nonprofit?
I have 4 members now. One is a DJ.
Okay.
I don't know if you probably know him, Rick MacGyver. He
Yes,
is an entertainer, and he has his own entertainment business. He sings. He's an entertainer. That's why I wanted him in it, because he's got spunk. He's got motivation. I've known him since I was 18. He worked at the bank with my sister, and we became like brothers and sisters. And his daughter Ashley is on board now. She's the cosmetologist who just opened up a Pilates synergy place with her husband in Ventnor. But here I wanted Rick to come in and do like a DJ thing when you go into the school. Hopefully, like the
that is
auditorium.
nice,
Like I have
yes.
like this whole itinerary and a presentation how I want to do it. Like I'm thinking about it. So when the kids come in, he's got motivational music, and the kids, uplift. You know, positive. And so he's on board, and his daughter. I have a few people who are kind of like, well, I got this going on. They're big people in the area right now who are running for office, so they really are not allocating enough any time. But I'm still, getting it slowly, into the community. So.
Into the community and into the school. You say you are working to get into the school at this moment.
Yes. Schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how we can help you to
Absolutely.
get into the school, because it's very important.
It is.
I mean, if you can go over there and teach these kids and give it a little bit of the love that you are spreading and the knowledge, so
Right.
they can take it back to
Right.
the community, the street, and when they go back home, that would be great.
I would hope to call it like Love Day. So you go into the school, and they hopefully it would be in an auditorium, and the kids would wear their gym clothes, and then we'd have happy music. And there's so many happy music. These artists are so into love. I mean, you've heard "Where Is the Love" and all these artists that are trying. People don't really listen to the words; they just dance to it. Like if you really listen to a lot of these words, that love will save you now. There's so many love. Michael Jackson about love. Everything's like love. So you'd have like inspirational music. You come in. The teachers, we'd ask them to we would separate all the children so there wouldn't be cliques. When back in school you had to be next to the popular one and you were in a clique? No.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting separated, You're not going to be next to the cool one. Do you know what I mean? So you won't have anyone to feed off of them. So the popular people won't have their little clique to make the unpopular people feel bad. So everybody would be separated. And then there would be like some kind of, we would do some extra, some activities to make everyone feel welcomed,
That is
Dance.
great, so everybody can collaborate.
Right, collaborate.
Okay.
And then that way, and if you sense that there's somebody who needs it, like you would have people who would point out maybe people who could be problematic or who have some issues, underlying issues, and then take them aside maybe and speak with them.
Do you have any advice as well, or any program? Because we're talking about the kids that are being bullied, but what about the bullies?
Yeah, the bullies need love. Yeah. The
So
most.
they are integrated, so you
Yeah.
make sure that you contact or you get that one-on-one with
Yeah.
the bully, because we always talk about the one that is
Yeah.
bullied, but let's sit down in the other side.
Tough love.
Let's find out what is going on in that head of these kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because sometimes we don't know what is pushing them to be bullied. Are they being bullied? Are
say
they
it.
being
They're hurting. Yeah.
So you had a
So,
lot of those kids?
Joanne,
Yes, Teddy.
I'm sorry. I know that we're talking about the bullies and things like that, and I think it's really important. And for people who may want to get in contact with you or support your mission, how can they do that? Because I know we're coming up on the end of the show, but I don't want anybody, not to be able to connect with you and what you're doing and the positive vibes that you're giving off. So what's your website and your contact information so people can contact you and donate to your cause and everything like that? What do we need to do?
Okay, well, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and all that. But for now, if they want to do anything, they can go on to www.myyoyo.org. Myyoyo.org. They can also friend me on Facebook, Joanne Leone, Joanne no E, JoannLeone. But it's also on Facebook too as Young and Old Youth Organization. Young and Old
Can
Youth.
you spell your name again?
Sure.
A little bit slower so
You-
everyone will have the opportunity to take down the information.
Sure. So my name is Joanne. First name is Joann. Last name is Leone, like Mama Leone. Leone. And then I'm also on Facebook. It's Yo-Yo. It's under Young and Old Youth Organization. But online, you can nominate somebody too on my Facebook page. I mean, I'm sorry, on my my website. You can nominate somebody who's done something good, or if somebody's done something courageous. I have a contact on there as well. So you can go to www.myyoyo.org. Yeah, myyoyo.org. So it's MYYOYO.org. My yo-yo.
Thank you so much. So we want everybody to be able to, of course, contact you and get to your
Absolutely.
cause, because
And
we've had so many amazing people that have come on and have so many different causes, from the police and doing wonderful things in the community, and allowing families to have Christmas, or the children to have Christmas, by allowing them to go in, I think it was to the Walmart or wherever, and pick up all the toys that they wanted. We have your cause. We had the gentleman last week with the school. So it's so many good things, but I get excited because we really do get to highlight and focus on positivity. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and for really letting us know what your organization is and what you're doing, because we need it. We need so much in our world. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Teddy. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you, Teddy, for being there for us. keep the check and balance. And yes, what you are doing, Miss Joanne, is great, is needed, and it's beautiful when all of us come together and bring, the little
Peace
bit we
and love.
had to offer, and peace and love, and it's needed, like Teddy Tache said, it's needed.
We have what we need.
Everywhere. For young, for old, and for us.
Right. Yeah.
So it's needed. And I don't know if we still have a few minutes to talk to Joanne, Stefan. Or we there's so much to talk about. I mean, what you are offering is beautiful.
Yeah,
so much.
Unfortunately, I'm just starting out, so it's progress. It's in the making, and with God's support and faith, we will do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. What you are doing is great. I wanted to see the arrow.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got to do. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got to do. We got it. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe. And if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act. We're moving, we're grooving. We're moving, yeah, yeah. We're grooving. Moving, 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 go. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move.
Hello, hola. We are back, and we was talking about volunteering.
Volunteering.
us.
I know, just a couple hours a week, or a month, or whatever. I just need help. I just want to go take a bunch of fun-loving people out there with the same mission and compassion, and just go visit people. Maybe take a couple bucks out of your pocket and buy some little fun things for the elderly people in the nursing homes, and go through the rooms and make them smile.
Yes,
just to see
yes,
that, and see how fortunate we are. And then my one friend wants to take her children through them. They love it. Just to see these young faces running through, an old age home is just so precious.
Yes.
And then going to the schools and having a fun day with these children who are feeling lost, who are feeling pressured. Social media is inundating everybody and making them, do crazy things or feel inadequate.
Yes.
So, with this love that we can share, as I said before, spreading that love and joy and hope. Maybe even go out on the streets, because there's a ton of homeless people out there. My
Yes.
dream, I see this vision of my yo-yo buses, and I have people that, we want to help, and then go out there. And like, I met this girl with the purses of purpose, where
Oh,
she
yes, the
takes the
purses,
purses
yes,
and she puts, toiletries in them, get together and do that. And then, Yo-Yo will spread them, help her and spread them around, and try to help these girls. I mean, just get to the core and start them young, because these kids are so vulnerable and they have no guidance. We have to help each other.
Yes.
And then maybe less crime, less hate. First of all, it's hate. That's where the crime comes from. I grew up in Atlantic City. I saved somebody on the street. He was getting beat up. They were stealing his wallet. You see it every
Yes,
day.
yes.
And it's not just Atlantic City. It's everywhere. It could happen offshore. It could happen in Philly, New York. It happens everywhere. People are hurting. It doesn't matter where you live.
And come on, people, like we were saying, it's our responsibility. Those before us did it for us. It's our responsibility. We have a social responsibility to do it for our children now, and leave a better future for them. Teddy Tache, we are at the end of the program. Any words that you would like to say?
I would like to just add with what you guys are saying. Yes, anyway, like you can do so many things to help people. And even if you're like, well, I don't have the time, or somebody is like, well, I don't have the car to do, even saying hello and smiling at someone, you never know how much that can change somebody's day.
Absolutely.
Like, in this season of, shopping and things like that, people are working, and people are hard workers. And just to say to the person, instead of going into the store, be like, hey, do you have any more of these? How about a hello, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a common courtesy.
Yeah.
It's just being a good person.
Exactly.
And then go into your conversation, because, it's just about smiling at people. Even that can change somebody's day. Or
I love it.
How are you? And actually wait for the response instead of being like, how are you? And you're walking halfway down the street when you're asking the question.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
I can't wait to meet you in person.
Anything.
Merry Christmas. We miss
Merry
you. Thank
Christmas.
you. Thank you. Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas and Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Hope to see you soon.
Buon Natale.
Thank you, everybody. And this is an example that you can do good while doing well.
Oh, I love
James Whitehead, thank you. Miss
Beautiful.
Joanne.
Thank
You are
you.
a good example of that.
Thank you.
Yes, you can do good.
Lead
while
by
doing well.
example.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, ladies, for
Peace out.
another
Thank you.
awesome show. And we hope to have all of our listening audience back next Monday, same time, same place, for the James Whitehead or Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too,
Thank you.
fabulous. Good night.
Show what we're made of. That's why they come from near and far.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City. And now on FM Translator 100.3, W262CF, Atlantic
Hi,
City.
this is George C.
Hi, this is Super Steph.